Hello. Welcome to Verbling, www.verbling.com. Hi there. I'm Teacher Oakley. And in today's class for the next hour, we are going to practice our English speaking skills by describing a journey, a trip that we have taken. The goal of the class is for you, the students, to practice speaking sequentially. Okay, so the emphasis is to get you to use time phrases, connectives, and discourse markers in order to organize your speech. So you guys are going to be describing a trip you took. So, okay, we started out, after that, next, the following day, a few hours later. This is what we're going to be concentrating in, using these kinds of connectives, adverb clauses, and adverbs to organize our speech and tell a story which has a timeline or is sequential, we say. So that's what we're going to do. So I'd love to hear about your interesting and exciting trips or journeys. It doesn't matter. It could be a vacation for fun. It could be a business trip. It could be a school trip that you took to the museum. Whatever you want to talk about. So let me welcome you guys to the class and do a little microphone check while I'm at it. Hello, Bayara.
Hello.
Hello. Am I saying your name correctly?
Okay, correct.
It is? Really? It's a
Yeah,
mirror. Okay, great. Bayara. Where are you from, Bayara?
I'm from Mongolia.
Mongolia. Oh, awesome. Okay. Welcome to the
Yes.
class. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks.
Cool. All right, we'll talk to you again in a little bit. I would like to welcome Tatiana.
Hello.
Hi, how are you today?
Great.
Great. Well, that's
Yeah.
great. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. Terrific. All right. Always
Terrific.
always a pleasure. Excellent. Thanks for joining us. And welcome Juan. Juan Jose. Hello,
Hello,
hello. Hi. How are you?
I'm cool. I'm a little tired, but I'm cool.
Okay. Awesome. Where are you from, Juan?
I'm from Chile, South America.
Chile. Oh, nice. Okay. All right. We are international today. Awesome. Very good. Well, in that case, good evening. It's nighttime in Chile.
Yes,
Yeah.
good evening.
Good evening. Yeah. It's noon where I am. I'm an American, but I live in the Philippines. So
Okay.
it's noon here. Okay. The idea is I would love for you guys to tell me a little story. You're going to tell me a story about a trip you took, a journey. Again, concentrating on using phrases to introduce the idea of sequence. After that, the next morning, when I woke up, phrases like this to keep the time order. Okay. Bayara, you were first in the
Okay.
class, so you can go first. Tell me a story.
Uh, can I be the next one? I need a little time.
Okay, Bayara, no problem. And then,
Uh,
okay, uh, I guess ladies first then.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay. Tatiana?
Um, okay. But I'd like to tell some words about traveling. That traveling to new countries all the time attracted people, and now attracts people because they want to see different places, to encourage their knowledges about different countries, and when their choice of places depends on their interest and wishes, and maybe that's why I decided made up my mind to go to Turkey to visit that country, this country, and this trip was very interesting for me. I visited a lot of interesting places, but especially I appreciate Topkapi Palace. It's situated in Istanbul. It's maybe it was from 1467 years, and it was a residence of Osman Empire, and there are a lot of different I don't know in English hammam sauna, like sauna. It's in Turkish language hammam, in English it's like sauna, and ancient, very interesting, and there are a lot of swimming pools. It's ancient place, it's ancient church, but then it was when Osman Empire took this church, it been a place for Muslim prayer. And then I visited, of course, Antalya. It was it was a super resource for have a rest, especially when people want to swim in the sea and have sunbathe. What else? Maybe you ask me something. I don't know what else.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you, Tatiana. Okay. You you started to do it in the end, but okay. Look, in your speaking, you talked about why people travel, and that's fine. You gave that's called backstory. Fine. You kind of set the idea. Nothing wrong with that. But then you talked about all of you. You actually started basically listing the things you saw in Turkey on your trip. Now, at the end, you started. At least I started to get, and then we went to after that. That's kind of what I was looking for. Is looking for you to talk about a journey in terms of really thinking about the time. We landed, and when we got to the airport, it was very foggy and cold. After that, we went to our hotel, and the receptionist had mixed up our reservations, so we had to argue with the manager for 20 minutes before they gave us a room. Finally, they gave us a room. And our room was really nice, like that. So using
really? But unfortunately, I don't know how to say. I haven't got any plan. If I got plan, maybe it's more easier for me to tell.
Okay. Well,
but
it's
never
okay.
mind. It's very yes. When I went to hotel, it's very interesting. Was there because they upgraded my room.
Nice.
I booked a cheap room, but there are no any cheap rooms, and they upgraded me a very expensive room. I was astonished. Why? What is it? May I add some money for this? They said no, but this was only one night, and then they moved me into a cheap room. because
Nice.
I haven't got enough money to take a trip, expensive trip,
Mhm.
expensive rooms, expensive hotel.
Mhm.
But never mind, I was glad.
Always nice to get upgraded. Definitely. Okay. Let me give you some feedback to your speaking, and I'll give you another chance. We'll do something maybe simpler. We'll come back to you. We'll let you try doing the sequential thing. But first, a little feedback. You introduced your speaking by saying, "I'd like to tell some words about traveling." It's a little awkward. It would be a little more usual introduction and collocation to say, I would like to tell you about traveling, or you're talking about in general. I would like to talk about traveling in general and tourism, something like that. I would like to talk about.
Hmm.
Okay. People want to, okay, you said people want to encourages their knowledges. People want to encourage is not really encourage their knowledge. They want to expand their knowledge. They want to broaden their knowledge. They want
Hmm.
to widen their knowledge. And knowledge. Knowledge is an uncountable noun in English, so there's no way to say knowledge is with an
I all the time I make the same mistake. Yes.
well, it's
It's
very
very
common.
difficult when I speak more fluently. It's very difficult to to control myself. Yes, I see.
Right.
Thank you.
It's okay. And then it's just practice, practice, practice. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you spoke thoroughly. That's okay. Also, be careful of the ed or ing endings for adjectives. Um, I think you slipped. You said interested places, but it should be interesting
Uh-huh.
ing. Interesting places. Outside, externally, a situation or something you see. ing. It's a boring movie. It's an interesting museum. It's a fascinating play. But internally, we use ed. I was bored in the movie. I was really interested in the artwork at the museum. I
Hmm.
was fascinated by the culture. I was internally. Or talking about someone else. He was fascinated. He was bored. How a
Hmm.
person felt, right? Okay, you saw, I forgot what it was, but you said from 1467 years. Okay, how to rephrase that? It was, okay, I forgot what it was. Some
Topkapı
building.
Palace.
Okay. Palace?
Topkapı Palace. Uh-huh.
Palace. Okay, the palace. We would probably just say the palace was built in 1467. Um, or the palace dates back to 1467. That's another good way to say it.
Hmm.
Dates back to. Okay. You don't need years, though. Definitely. Year or years. No need to say
Hmm.
that. You just say the number. Uh, okay. And there were many, okay, saunas or spas. All right, fine. Be careful also. This is also very common. Um, woman, women, men, man, men. Very common. Person, people. Remember that these other forms, they're not plurals with an S, but they are plural. So when we conjugate the verb, you said people wants, but it should be, of course, people want, because people is plural. People want to whatever they want to do. Um, Also, sunbathe is a verb. Okay, so you can say people, oh, you like to sunbathe at the beach. All right, this is a weird word in English because we don't really use it as a noun, although it seems like it should be. We don't say you have a sun bath. We just use it as a verb always. You can sunbathe on the beach. Okay? And finally,
Sunbathe is a verb.
yeah.
To have sunbathe.
Yeah, so you don't have sunbathe. You sunbathe. Right, so you don't need have. I have you may use have, but only because you're trying to use a different verb tense, like present perfect. I have sunbathed on the beach in Turkey, like that. But right. Okay, and also last, be careful of there were no any rooms. It should be there were not any rooms. So be careful to use not as the negative. Not any, not many. Okay. Not and then a number or quantifier, any, many, a few, a lot, a little. So always not to in front of a quantifier to make it negative. Okay? And that's it. And that's it for now. We'll give you another chance later, though. I hope we'll have time. Bayara, are you ready now?
Okay. I'm trying to. Okay, I'm trying.
Sure, why not?
So that story happened 1 year ago. I was traveling local country where has so many strawberry. My purpose is gather strawberry. I stayed 2 days out there, and the nature was so wonderful. First day, I was gathering strawberry all the night, but not all night, just little time. And the second day, I climbed the mountain, and I gathered the mountain's strawberry. It's a little bit different, mountain strawberry and strawberry. So the second day was also so wonderful. That's one of the best day of my life. I I I had seen so many nice palaces, nice animals, and the air is so fresher. I mean, very clear. That was very wonderful, and that's it. Oh, by the way, I'm I'm going with my girlfriend and my some other friends. We had very funny.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. A follow-up question. You saw animals, wild animals? What kind of wild animals did you see? I'm just
There is
curious.
a marmot.
Okay.
There was marmot and some kind of birds. I don't know what kind of birds, but very pretty birds was there.
Very
And
pretty. Yeah, okay.
yes, birds and marmot and the animal. I don't know exactly what that is name.
Marmot. Okay. I know what a marmot is. Okay, and another kind of animal. Was it a tiger? Ah!
No,
No.
there is no tiger.
Okay, I'm just kidding. Of course not. Oh, okay. Uh, okay. Let me give you some feedback. Okay. You
Okay.
you started out. That story happened whenever it happened in the past. Okay, it's not that story. It's really this story. The story you're telling right now. So this story
Okay.
happened 2 months ago, 2 years ago, whatever. Okay. You went to a place where has strawberries. Actually, it's uh, two different ways. You could say that. I went to a place that has strawberries, or okay, you're using a relative clause. You need a relative pronoun, but not where. Um, I went to a place that has strawberries, or I went to a place which has strawberries. The relative pronoun would have to be that or which. Or I went to a place where there are strawberries. Change the verb has to the verb to be.
Okay.
A place where there are strawberries. Uh, and you're telling a story about the past. Okay, this already happened. It's in the past. So you have to use past tense. All
Yes.
right, you kept using present tense, but so my purpose is should of course be my purpose was, of course.
Yeah.
Um, you said I going with my girlfriend, but that's I am going. That's for future. So of course I went.
Yeah.
Past. Go in the past tense is went. I went with my girlfriend. Okay, so you have to, in this exercise today, this telling this story, it's of course it's going to be in the past, everything.
Yes.
Okay, pronunciation, nature, nature,
Nature.
very good. Mountain,
Mountain.
okay, much better. Reduce pronunciation on the second syllable, not mountain. That's a very common mistake
Okay.
for second language speakers.
Mountain.
Mountain, yeah. And air. The air was
Air.
so clean. Air,
Air.
better, much better. Okay. Okay. Now you said the nature was so wonderful. Okay, that's okay. Never mind. I was going to say you might want to say the natural surroundings were so wonderful. The that's okay because you're actually talking about nature. You talked about the animals. Um, so actually, it's okay the way you said it. All right, you used this phrase, very common phrase. One of the best day of my life,
Yeah.
but you would need to change it slightly. One of the best days, because you're talking about.
Okay.
Of course, there are many days in your life. One of the best days of my life. Okay. And last thing, you said it was very funny. Well, I think you meant it was very fun. All
Very
right.
fun. Yeah.
Enjoyable, fun. Because funny has a different meaning. Funny and fun are two different words. All right. Similar, but very much different meanings. Something that is fun is enjoyable, pleasurable. All right. Something that is funny, actually, two meanings. It can be funny, haha, ha ha ha, makes you laugh. It's funny. Or it can be funny, funny, strange. If I say this sandwich has a funny taste, well, I'm not laughing. Okay, it means it tastes strange, unusual, something wrong. So funny
Hmm.
can be positive or negative, but fun, we had fun at the party. All right. The host was very funny. All right. We had fun at the party. We enjoyed it. The host was funny. He made us laugh. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, Juan, you've been waiting very patiently. It is time
Yes.
to tell your story.
Okay. In my last trip, I went to United States with my girlfriend. We went to San Francisco and Las Vegas. We arrived to the international airport in San Francisco, and after that, we took a taxi and we went to the hotel. When we arrived to the hotel, we cannot communicate with the receptionist. The building was closed. Actually, it's not really a hotel. I think it's a building with a lot of rooms, and but it's closed. So we needed to build a ring outside, and after that we can communicate with the inside of the building, and we can open to the people open the doors, and we can get into the hotel. But the hotel or the room was okay. It's was cheap, that hotel, and the place is a very good location. Was a very good location. It's near to the principal places on the city. Um, After that, we had a plan to a plane to visit the most important places in the city, in the San Francisco. So we visited, I don't know, Alcatraz Island, Pier 39, Chinatown. We walked around the city a lot. We ride in these special buses. I don't know. Don't remember the name. We spent about 5 or 6 days in San Francisco, and after that we moved to Las Vegas. And in Las Vegas was crazy. Was so crazy because it's a lot of party, and we went to a lot of casinos, and we spent time in some clubs. So we dancing, we talked with another people. We spent a lot of money, and also we took a ride in by plane. So we ride over the Grand Canyon.
Ah,
was was a fantastic experience. So this trip was amazing. Was amazing trip. We visited important places in San Francisco, Las Vegas, and we had fun. We had fun time with my girlfriend. So
okay.
that
All right. I had a fun time with my girlfriend.
I had a hard time.
Not we. Not we. I wasn't there.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Uh,
I
all
got it.
right.
I got it.
Okay. I would have liked to have been there, Jose, and you can invite me next time, and that's fine. But last
For
time
sure.
I wasn't there. Okay, Jose, I'm going to give you a little feedback, but I just want to quickly say hello to Ken. Welcome, Ken.
Yes, hello.
Hi,
How are
Ken.
you?
Good.
Hello, how are you? Yes,
Good.
thank you.
Loud and clear. Can hear you. And Alexandra. Hi, Alexandra. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to have you with us. We'll give you guys a chance to describe a trip or a journey you took, keeping in mind to try to use adverb phrases, discourse markers to keep the sequence of the journey. What happened next, after that, later that day, things like that, when we arrived. Which, by the way, Jose, you did a very nice job of that. Kudos. Good job keeping the sequence by using these kinds of phrases. I could tell that you were actively trying to do that. It was obvious, and you did a good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, a little bit of feedback, couple of small problems. Let's talk about verb preposition collocations. You arrived to the hotel. No, whenever we use the verb arrive, we have to use at, because arrive, the verb means you're there now. You are no longer moving. We use to with verbs that actually you're moving. We traveled to. We took a train to. Okay, you're moving there. When you arrive, you're there. You're not moving anymore. So you arrive at the hotel, you arrive at the airport. We arrived at the party. Also, another preposition, preposition of place. You said I don't know, talking about Vegas, you arrived on the city. It should be in the city. So, city, country, state, province, whatever it is. I spent a month in Spain. I had a lot of fun in New York City. Okay. You spent part of your trip in California and part of your trip in Nevada. In. You have to kind of think about it being inside the boundaries of the city, state, country, whatever. Okay, a little vocabulary. The first place you went to, I'm not sure, I'm guessing, but was it a kind of a dormitory situation or a hostel?
Probably be a kind of hostel,
Probably.
with a private room.
Okay, yeah, San Francisco definitely has hostels. Yeah, it's not exactly a hotel, but it's it's a place where you can room. Sometimes you have at a hostel you get a roommate you may not even know, or you can get a private room, or you can share a room, but it's generally quite cheap, inexpensive, cheap. Not which, by the way, cheap pronunciation, cheap, ch sound, cheap. Yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah, be careful. It sounds, when you say it, it sounds like sh, like ship. It's not. It's sh is a continuant. It's a sh. I can continue saying that sound. Ch, as in cheap, I can't. Not without giving myself some kind of a brain aneurysm or something. Because it's a quick sound. It should be like K or T. It's a glottal, not a glottal stop. I'm sorry. It should be a quick sound. All right. Cheap.
Okay. Cheap.
Right. Formed by dropping your tongue quickly from the cheap, from the top of your mouth. Okay. What else? Oh, I'm not sure what you took. The transportation you couldn't remember the name of. San Francisco is famous for its streetcars. Did you take a streetcar? Streetcars are like a train. They're electric. and they go
That
on
one.
a track. Yeah, right. Okay.
That
Up
one.
and down the hills. Yeah, that's a streetcar.
Yeah, exactly. What is the name?
I'm typing in Verbling chat. It's a street car. 2 words. Street car.
Streetcar.
Streetcar. Compound noun.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I remember that. Okay, and a couple of times the same. I've heard a couple. Okay, a couple of times you use present tense when you should be using past tense because, of course, you're telling a story in the past. All right. Can. We can wait. You could. The past tense of can is could. We could get a hotel room after a few hours. All right. The other one was road. You said we ride the streetcar or whatever. We rode. Irregular verb, so past tense. Rode the streetcar. We rode. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Past tense. Got it? Okay. And that's it. But again, thank you, because a good example of how to use phrases and connectives to keep the sequence, keep the time order when you're speaking. So good. Thank you, Juan.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
It was great. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Okay, Ken, Alexandra, you both kind of came in at the same time, but I think Ken was the winner by half a second. Ken, tell us about a journey or a trip that you took.
Yeah, the maybe long trip would be good for this. So travel to America, and should I say to the itinerary or something, or the schedule?
Well, what we're trying to focus on, Ken, is just you can talk about details of the trip. That would be great.
Okay.
But we're trying to focus on getting the idea of the time order. Okay. After that, and the next morning when I woke up, in the afternoon.
Okay. Early in the morning, I started my house to the local airport. I caught the first plane to Tokyo, an international airport, and the airport arrived there in the morning, and I have to transit the airport to Dallas from Narita Tokyo International Airport, and I have to wait that airport several hours there. So I was hanging out the airport shopping center, and I ate last my favorite Japanese noodle called udon noodle, and then I get on the airport probably in 12 at 12 p.m. and going to probably took 30 or 40 hours to go to Dallas Airport, Texas, and airplane arrived at Dallas. I don't know when, but sometime in the afternoon, and because I remember the blue sky in Texas, nothing but blue, and I intentionally kind of delayed my changing traditional flight to Atlanta, Georgia, because I'm not familiar with, accustomed with transit airports. So again, I have to wait that airplane 2 or 3 hours there. So I was hanging around Dallas airport. It was a huge airport. So I saw a lot of restaurants or shops there, and I got on the plane probably at 3 or 4 p.m. Maybe 3, I guess. And airplane from Texas to Atlanta Hartsfield Airport took almost 2 hours. So airplane reached at Atlanta at 5 p.m. And then I have to transit limousine bus to my destination, the small town close to Atlanta. And I got on that shuttle bus, probably 5:30 or something. And then the shuttle bus arrived that small town probably almost 6 p.m. or over 6 p.m. And then I checked since it is limousine bus, it is how can I say it arrived. I arrived in front of the hotel I booked. So I booked the hotel right after that, and I rested at the first American night there. That's it.
Okay. Well, all right. That was definitely a story about the actual traveling, the actual journey. Okay. Took me quite literally there. Okay, very good. Did you enjoy your trip to Atlanta, by the
Yeah, I
way?
enjoy, but since
Follow up.
I got not I'm not familiar with that. I didn't get accustomed with it. So it took 24 hours actually. Long travel.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. You didn't get accustomed to it.
Actually,
Again, a verb preposition. You get accustomed to something.
yeah.
How long were you there?
There,
Yeah, Atlanta. How long were you?
6 months.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
eventually
Mhm.
you got accustomed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay. All right. Uh, okay. Okay. Let me give you a little feedback. Maybe. Um, okay. Let's see. Maybe slip of the tongue. You said
Mhm.
you got on the airport in
Ah,
Tokyo. Well, obviously not.
yeah.
Yeah, the airplane.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure you didn't climb to the roof of the airport. Okay. Pronunciation. Be careful, and this goes for everyone. Please be careful. Uh, okay, the multiples of 10. When Ken spoke, I thought he was his flight from Tokyo to Dallas. It sounded like Ken said it took 30 or 40 hours.
That's
30.
13. Yeah.
Yeah, thank
13.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You really need to stress and emphasize teen at the end
Yeah.
of the word.
Mhm.
This is very important. Any of you involved in business, or you've got to talk money, money, quantity, amounts of things you're buying or selling. Very important.
Mhm.
Go ahead and exaggerate it. Don't be afraid of it. Okay, so 13 or 14 hours. Stress it. Use a higher pitch. Say it louder. It's very important. Yes, because a 30 or 40-hour flight, that's like, Ken, where'd you go? Around the moon?
Maybe I return to
Yeah.
Japan
All right.
around yeah, after around
Okay.
the round trip. Yeah.
And there's another one. Arrive. Be careful. Your R's and L's. Arrive.
Arrive.
Arrived. Okay. you arrived. And then it took me a little while, like the third time you said it, before I could understand shuttle bus. Shuttle bus.
Shuttle bus.
Shuttle bus. Yeah.
Shuttle bus. Okay. It's not a limousine bus. Shuttle bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. The airport has limousine service. Yeah. Okay. And then they sometimes, okay, this can be confusing it's confusing for me, so I understand.
Okay.
They have a shuttle bus. It's just a bus you get on with other passengers, but they call it an airport limousine. But it's not a limousine. This is kind of a
small bus. Yeah.
this is a misnomer. Okay, misnomer. A word that is the wrong name. It doesn't fit. It doesn't actually make sense. This happens in English. A limousine is that big car, fancy car, very expensive. You sit in the back, and it has a bar, and you can watch TV and have yourself a cocktail, have a martini. That's a limousine, all right?
Yeah.
The stupid little bus they take from the airport is not a limousine. Definitely not. It's a shuttle bus. But so I know in the United States, you land at the airport, they'll say, "Oh, you can get your limousine at outside of gate 3, whatever."
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it's a misnomer. But anyway, a little vocabulary. Okay, you had a layover in Dallas. You extended your layover.
Layover.
Okay, yeah. That's the time you spend in transit. You go to one airport, and then from that airport you go to another one. That time is called your layover. 2-hour layover, 3-hour layover. You can have. I've changed my reservation so I have a layover of 3 or 4 days if I want to spend time in a particular city. And then and then the last thing, when you don't get accustomed to a place because of a long travel time and a big time difference, that's called jet lag. So yeah, if you have jet lag from traveling, it means your biological clock, you're not accustomed to that time zone. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Ken.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Alexandra, it is now your turn to describe a journey, a trip you took, describe your experience traveling. And again, we're kind of concentrating on keeping the chronological order or the time order.
Okay, I'm going to talk about my first trip to Moscow, which was taken on my own, and I was traveling by plane. The reason for me traveling by plane is that, first of all, I usually don't travel. It's not that like I can, well, traveling by plane in our country, especially from the place where I live, is quite expensive. So, and usually I prefer traveling by train, but it takes lots of time, and besides, it's not that like I'm traveling on a shoestring. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking about the expression. Yeah, it's not like I'm traveling on a shoestring. But I decided that I need to save time. That's why I went on a plane, and it was a very good choice for me, especially when I was on my own. So I booked tickets in advance because a long time in advance. And when I arrived at the airport, my plane was actually can I say postponed?
Yes, that's
Yeah, my
perfectly
plane was
appropriate.
My plane was postponed, and I spent several several hours at the airport doing nothing. And then when I finally get on board the plane, I was seated near a very old woman. And why I'm very specific about my neighbor is that then when we arrived when we were landing at the airport, I took out my cell phone to text my friends that I was already there and they needed to meet me. And exactly at that very time, the plane started to take off instead of landing. So this old woman went nuts and said that I was guilty for that because I used my cell phone, and using the cell phone is usually prohibited. So she was going nuts, and so. But the fact was that the flight was not. The landing was not allowed because exactly at that time another plane was taking off, so we just had to wait, flying around Moscow. And well, that was my experience of coming to Moscow. And I actually also was leaving Moscow alone, on my own. And the thing about traveling in big cities, to which I couldn't get accustomed to for a long time, was that everything takes lots of time in terms of traffic jams and underground and the exact arriving at the airport, which takes lots of time. So when I was coming back to my place, after staying in Moscow, I first of all, usually people start preparing for leaving the place maybe in 3 or 2 hours beforehand, but I just I was really late, so I left the house maybe in an hour and a half before my plane was leaving. But I was very how to say, I was very lucky because there were not so okay, I just got on the underground, went straight to the last metro station. When I went out, I figured out that I lost all the buses, that I missed all the buses, and the taxi drivers, they offered me a ride for a sum which was half of my plane ticket price. When finally I went, I caught another bus which was firstly going to Sheremetyevo 2, which is an international airport, and then only then to my airport. So, and there were lots of foreigners, and I had to push and shove to get on that plane, and there was lots of luggage. And when I finally arrived at the airport, the voice was announcing my flight, and I couldn't find the gates, which was saying gates 13, but there were only 10 gates. And then I figured that the gates is actually where you check in for the flight, but not those steel things you go through, like you check, have a control, or I forgot. So that was really funny. But I finally managed to get home just in an hour and a half. So that was my first trip on my own to Moscow and back. I was completely alone. So yeah, and that was funny, but that gave me a lot of experience because that was my first time. Yeah. So I could say that I learned the rope. Can I say that I learned it the hard way?
Yeah, sure. Both of those idioms. I learned the ropes, or I learned the ropes the hard way. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you can use those expressions. Speaking of expressions, you used another idiom, which I really liked. She said she wasn't traveling on a shoestring. Okay. Interesting idiom. Sometimes we say on a shoestring budget. So
budget.
yeah, that's not necessary to say budget. Sometimes we leave it out. But usually, this is an idiom related to traveling. If you're traveling on a shoestring, you don't have a lot of money. You have to do things very economically because you don't have a lot of extra money. Okay, very appropriate for this topic. Definitely, we use this for travel a lot. You could have a business that you're operating on a shoestring budget as well. So it can be used other areas. Mostly very good job in organization and using phrases and connectives to keep the time order. One small slip up. Finally, I get on the plane. Finally, I got on the plane. Okay, because it's past tense. But okay, other than that, mostly everything was okay. So, okay, you talked about the journey there, the journey back. I have to ask, did you enjoy your time in Moscow?
No, I
No?
don't usually enjoy my time in Moscow.
Really? Why?
Really?
Why not?
Because it usually, as I already said, where I live, it usually takes from 10 to 30 minutes to get somewhere, but in Moscow, you never know. You know, it's like hit or miss, whether you get on time or not. If you want to get on time somewhere, you should leave your house long beforehand, because you need if it's somewhere. Well, I live in the center. Well, and but usually the places where I have to go, they are in different parts of the city, and as I'm not a citizen, Moscow citizen, I don't usually know how to travel and how to get to this or that place. That's why. And then you can when you get out of the metro station, if you get on the wrong side, you can't just cross the road. You have to find another metro station to travel back and then come out at the different side. So that's very irritating. It's all about getting around the town. That's why I don't usually enjoy the time there.
I see. I understand. Okay, I get you. Yeah, well, big cities, virtually every big city has those problems. Yeah, too true. Okay, actually, Obed, I'm not sure. Hi, Obed, and bye. I was just about to do my thank you for joining the class. Thank you. Everyone did a great job, but I have to close the class because I have to start another verbaling class here in just a few seconds. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.